Hello, my name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the Executive Director for the Children's Coalition Incorporated, and we're doing interviews today at the Sims Veterans Nursing Home at 4419 Tram Road in Panama City. Anybody know the zip code?
32404.
32404. And I have my sound technician working the sound equipment. That's Reuben Sparks. And I also have present relatives of the interviewee, and that's his daughter,
Michelle
Flott, and
his wife,
what?
Shirley.
Shirley, what's your last name?
Donaldson.
Donaldson. Okay, Shirley, thank you very much. And sir, what is your name?
Seymour Donaldson.
Okay, and what is, when is your birthday?
November 3rd, 1933.
Okay, and how's the sound on that?
Sounds good.
Good, okay. And what is your address?
My home address?
Which address is he using?
4419.
The address here. It's okay, we have it. The address is 4419 Tram Road in Panama City. Okay.
That's right.
All right. And what branch of the service were you in?
Army.
United States Army. Okay. What year did you go into service?
1956.
Okay. And where were you at the time of going into the service? Where were you living?
I was at my farm, or my dad's farm,
Where? What state?
Wisconsin.
Okay. And what city were you in?
Well, if you can call it a city, it's Sand Creek.
Okay. All right. And how old were you at the time?
22.
What were you doing before you went into service?
I was working on the farm.
Okay. All right. All right. So, what branch? Okay. Why did you choose the branch? Did you get? I think I heard you say before that you enlisted.
They chose it for me.
Who did?
The Army,
Oh.
or the president, or whoever.
Okay.
I volunteered for the service.
Okay. So you weren't drafted.
No, but they would have drafted me, and I wanted to get it over with.
Oh, okay. All right. So where did you go to basic training?
Fort Hood, Texas.
Okay. How long was basic training?
8 weeks.
How did you get through it? How was it? Was it a challenge?
I
or-
got through it.
Okay. You remember your instructors?
One was Sergeant Saw, and one was Sergeant Black.
Okay. And what's any specifics about why you remember them? Were they good, bad, ugly, or indifferent?
Oh, they were good.
They were good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, where was basic training?
Fort Hood,
For
Texas.
yeah, you told me. So after that, you went to tech school for your AIT, I think it is.
San Antonio, Texas.
And what was your career? Your career field?
In the Army,
Yes.
medic.
Oh, okay. All right. All
I
right.
was a doctor. No.
Okay. He still has plenty of jokes left, I
Oh,
see.
yes.
Okay, that's good.
Trust me.
That's not lost that sense of humor. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. All right. So where did you go for your medical training?
San Antonio.
Oh, yeah,
Texas.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having senior moments. So
Then from there,
Go ahead.
I went to, what is that?
your first duty station?
Iceland? Did you go straight to Iceland?
No, from there, I went to, oh shit, somewhere in Jersey.
Oh.
For what?
Fort Dix. Was it Fort Dix?
Well,
Was it Fort Dix?
no,
Okay. Camden?
oh God.
I can't remember. I'm calling cities. Why am I doing that?
It was in.
Well, anyway, they put me in a plane.
Uh-huh.
It didn't have any seats. It was an old boxcar.
Right.
You had rope you had to hang on to or you fall on your face.
Okay.
and it shook all over when it took off.
Uh-huh.
So I got to,
Was that a really big plane?
well, it got us all in.
C-150? Could have been a C-150. And so why did you get on this plane again?
Because they told me to.
Right. Where'd you go on the plane?
Went to this town I can't think of.
That you can't.
New
Okay.
Jersey.
So tell me about the training. What was the training in New Jersey?
There was no training.
That was your first duty station?
Yep. They took me there. From there, I was supposed to go to Iceland.
Ah.
But the plane iced up, so they took me down to Newfoundland.
Ah.
In Newfoundland, we were there 8 days. It snowed all the time.
Uh-huh.
Then they come and said, it looks pretty good, we'll load you all up. We loaded all up and they said the plane is icing up. So they dumped the fuel, they turned the plane this way, they turned the plane that way and dumped the fuel. So we landed again. 2 more days, they said we're ready to go. That time we were. We got on the plane and we headed for Iceland.
Okay. And how long were you stationed in Iceland?
It was supposed to be a year. I think I got out a little early. My brother was killed when I was in Iceland. So they immediately sent me home. So I had to go up and see the master sergeant. He was drunker than a skunk, and he put his arm around me. Well, I'll tell you, boy, I'll get you on that plane. I hope I have to bump a captain.
Was he still rebellious then?
Oh,
Because he's still rebellious now.
yes.
Okay. So tell what happened. I'm curious. How did that turn
They
out?
bumped somebody.
Oh,
I got
Lord.
on the plane. And they was families coming from Germany going home.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of kids. They laid down in the center aisle and they jab, jab, jab. Well, we took off and I looked out and I see one plane was catching a fire. So the captain come on and he said, I can fly this plane with 3 engines. So I'll shut that one off and then start it. Boy, them kids, you could hear a pin drop in there. They all sat there.
Got quiet, huh?
Yeah,
So you're still here, so apparently that worked?
McGuire was
Okay,
there.
McGuire Air Force Base.
Yeah.
So they flew to McGuire. And from there, well, I can tell you my trip in Iceland.
Go ahead, tell me about it.
Well, they were having mountain training.
What
And that
kind?
Lieutenant, mountain training.
Mountain training, okay.
Rescue training.
Right, oh, okay.
And the lieutenant come there and he said, I need 12 volunteers. You. So we went up to that place, which was the Printer on the Sea.
It
And
was
then he said, we can go over to this factory that they process whales. Well, we got there and they were just pulling a whale in. Stink. They were frying all that blubber.
Uh-huh.
So then we went to mountain training. Got up on the mountain. They put you on a stretcher and pushed you off. When you come off, all you could see was the ground. But we all made it. Then we went back to the camp. From there, well, we had field trips.
Uh-huh.
So they'd send you out, it was all bogs and water, with a sea ration. And you look on the date, they were from the Second World War.
Okay, all right.
And then
And-
you had to have your mess kit.
Uh-huh.
So then you got this good sea food to eat. which wasn't worth a damn. And then they took you back. From there, I went to, I went home.
For R&R, or you were done with the service?
I was done there.
Oh, really? Okay. How did you get along with officers?
Well, I got along fine. Just keep your mouth shut and listen to what they tell you.
Okay. Were there any other places that you traveled while you were in the service? No. Okay. So how long did you say you were in Iceland altogether? A year or 2 years?
No, it was a hardship tour. You could only stay 1 year.
Oh, okay. All right. So, did you get out of the service then? Or no? Okay.
Well, they sent me back to McGuire.
Uh-huh.
From McGuire, I went to Fort Riley, Kansas. That's where I was discharged.
Uh-huh.
Fort Riley, Kansas. Them sirens blowed every few minutes. Tornadoes coming in.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you ever sitting in the middle of a tornado, or?
No.
Thank
thanks.
God.
I said in the middle of a hurricane right here.
Well, yeah. We all, yeah.
So I got on a train heading for home. And the tornado had hit Colfax, Wisconsin, which was about 10 to 12 miles from our farm. And halfway there was a log across the road, across the railroad track.
Right.
So they had to stop, saw that off and get it off. Then I went to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and my family was there to pick me up and took me home.
Okay.
When I got home, the farm hadn't done much, but I got a job with a guy that was a cement. You know,
Pouring cement.
yeah.
Okay.
So I worked for him, and in the meantime, I went to New Auburn, Wisconsin, into a bar, and here come two beautiful girls in. One was my wife.
Okay.
So I just walked up and sat down by her. From there on, I asked her for a date, and we never separated since.
Okay. I've got I've got a question for you about this the conflict about you guarded you guarded the Air Force units from Russian conflict in Iceland?
Huh? No.
Oh, that's what you told me.
Did-
So what was your,
It's
ask me
okay.
what the.
Yeah, we were there to guard the Keflavik airport.
Okay.
That's what we were supposed to do.
Okay.
We were lucky the Russians didn't come.
Ah.
If they would have, we'd have had to throw them out.
Okay. All right. Okay. Were there ever any casualties
No,
throughout your service?
no.
How did you stay in touch with? Well, that was you met your wife after the service.
Yes.
Okay. So how did you stay in touch with your family while you were in the service?
How would I stand with?
How did you stay in touch, communicate with your family?
No, letters.
Letters? Okay. All right. So, were there any other places that you visited while you were in the military besides the one you've already mentioned?
Well, we went into town once, Reykjavik,
Okay.
but the people of Iceland are partial to Russians, so they hated us. I wish they'd have bombed them off.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's afternoon. You can say that. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. What did you maintain any of your friendships after the service?
Well, I had a good friend, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what we done. I'm
Go
not
ahead.
proud of.
Here we go.
Everybody got 2 cartons of cigarettes.
Uh-huh.
So we put our cigarettes together and got a hold of a Iceland cabbie. So we give them this and they give us booze.
What is an Iceland? Oh, cabbie, a cab driver.
Yeah,
Gotcha. All right. So you just did a trade off, huh?
we traded. the 4 cartons for booze,
Okay,
and we drank it.
I
I
understand.
got so damn sick, all he had was peppermint schnapps.
Oh,
I got so damn sick I thought I'd die.
Mhm.
And then Scott would come up and laughing at me.
okay.
Then we had Captain Breyer. He was tall and very ugly. And so he was asking questions, and Scott hated the Army. You don't answer any questions. So I raised my hand. I stood up and answered the question. Scott said, "Give that man a lollipop."
Okay. Okay. Did you enjoy your time in the service?
I didn't hate it.
I hope. Okay.
I didn't love it.
Okay. But you got through it.
I got through with no penalties or anything like that.
No negative incidences. Good for you. Did you use your GI Bill for anything?
No, I should have, but I didn't.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You're kind of dumb when you're young.
Well, you don't. Sometimes we find these things out late in life. I concur. Believe me, I understand. So tell me about your life after the service. I know you met your wife.
Met my wife, and I worked for a man that had a cement business.
Right. And how many years did you do that?
I done that until we got married.
And then what'd you do after you got married?
I went and worked on a farm that had a house, so we moved in the house.
Oh, all right.
Then her uncle had a farm by himself, so we went there and worked the farm. And done that till I got into my head I wanted to be a cattle buyer. That's what I done the rest of my working life.
And where was this?
This was in Bloomer, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Then I went to work for Whitehall, Wisconsin. There was Fritz Menemeyer, a German. So he said he'd give me $100 a week, big money at that time.
Right.
Moved my family down there, and then he said, I can only give you 80. So we got her after we moved there. We had 2 boys.
Uh-huh.
So we had 3 kids, $80 a week.
Wow.
But the one thing was the meat was really cheap. They had wieners, bologna, whatever you wanted, hams and bacon, and it was very cheap.
Okay.
Then he died and the son took over, and he jumped it right back to $100 a week.
Oh, okay.
So then we stayed there. Everything was fine. Pardon me, a Jew come and bought the plant. They had 200,000 in CDs, the plant did. He took that, spent that. So we ended up going broke, so I lost my job.
Oh.
So I went back to Bloomer, and I got a truck and started hauling cattle. Then I met this, another Jew, Marshall Chernin.
Uh-huh.
Well, he wanted to hire me. So I hired out to him. Went to Whitehall, was there for a while. Danny Melman, a Jew, owned the plant. So he come up to me one day and he had a big hat. He said, we're sending you to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I hated it there. It wasn't that you had to bid on cattle and then the next one could come walking through and overbid you. I just hated it. And the guy that run the place kind of liked me. He said, I'm going to send you to Fargo, North Dakota. And I thought, where in the hell is Fargo? So I went to Fargo, North Dakota, moved my family up there, and stayed there for 30 years. Then I retired. And
Okay.
I was 65. I was 65.
Right. How many kids you got?
We have three.
Three.
We have two sons and
And a
our only
beautiful
daughter.
daughter.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Very nice.
And we moved typically down here because,
To retire by.
yes, to retire
Because
by
I
her.
cannot take care of myself.
Okay.
And that was the only, and at the time they had one son, and that was our only grandchild that we had at that time.
So we moved down here in '98.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd already bought a house. So the house was ready to go. So we moved in and stayed here till now.
Okay. When you separated from the military, where were you?
Port Riley, Kansas.
Okay. And apparently, how long after that did you meet your wife? You separated and then met her, or met her before?
No, after.
After. So I'm just curious, when you separated, what were you thinking about doing? What was your state of mind
Well,
when you were getting out of the
I was going back
service?
farming, but the farm was not doing good.
Uh-huh.
He only left
So
because
I got a hold of a guy that had a cement business. So I worked for him. When I was working for him, is when I met my wife.
Okay. And what did you say?
So if I understood, he only left the army because because of his brother dying. He was actually sent back home to help the family.
Right. Okay.
So it
Okay.
wasn't really a choice to get out at that
I
point.
worked my butt off on the farm because it was ready to go under, and I saved
He
it.
had to say,
In fact, she told everybody that I saved it. But when it ended, I was supposed to get half, but I only got a third.
Okay.
I'm not too lucky, as you can see.
Oh,
I was lucky when I got my wife
There you go.
and when I got my daughter. So
Right.
when you got your family, you're pretty lucky.
This is true. This is true. Okay. Give me two things, just one at a time. Give me something that really stands out in your mind that's very memorable that happened to you while you were in the military, besides stuff you already told me about, or maybe it is connected or not. Doesn't matter. Even so, give me something.
Well, when I went to mountain training, and there wasn't much going on in Iceland. I seen the dictator from Russia with his big fur hat on. They didn't let us get too close in case somebody had a gun.
Who was that? Who was it?
I can't remember his name.
Who was it?
When was that in that?
What year was that?
56 or 57.
The Khrushchev?
That's Khrushchev. man.
Khrushchev? Khrushchev?
No, he wasn't.
No. Who
It
was it?
started with a D, I think.
Who was it before?
Stalin. Let's see, who was in the 60s? Khrushchev. Was Lenin, Stalin, Khrushchev? I forget who it was, yeah.
I'm looking.
Can you remember
What?
who was the ruler of Russia before? Who was it afterwards?
That was
Before or after Khrushchev in Russia?
after Khrushchev. Brezhnev?
Brezhnev.
Brezhnev?
Was it Brezhnev?
Was it Brezhnev?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's what I. Yes.
big guy.
Huh?
Big
And
guy.
Yeah. That was him. Okay. I can't remember if I asked you this or not. Did you retain any friendships?
Not really.
No. Okay.
Scott was more or less a drinking buddy.
Right. I understand. Okay.
So,
Do you belong to any, or did you belong to any veterans organizations? Any veterans like VFW, American Legion?
no,
Okay, fine. And what injury is it that you sustained? Was it a result of your being in the military?
No.
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 It was a result of me playing soccer with them kids from Russia. They were a hell of a lot faster than I was.
So it was.
I
It happened while he was in the military.
Did not know that.
Yeah. See there, that's why we do this. So you can find
So
out.
I was playing with them boys.
And what happened?
Well, I went for the ball and I slipped and I landed on the gravel and I skinned this knee
Uh-huh.
up that far and it lasted forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't call that service.
That's not true. It is service connected.
All right.
You were on active duty, right?
Yeah.
You were on active duty.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's service connected.
yeah.
Anything that happens to you while you're in the military service,
That's the only one.
okay, as usual, they're not going to accept, anything where you, anyway, suicidal,
Yeah.
right. But if it's an accident or something, I'm just going to put this in here. I had to go to tech school twice in Biloxi, Mississippi. And if you went in the water, because the water was so bad, they part of our orientation being on the base was that if you went in the water, they give you an Article 15
Oh, wow.
because you were possibly destroying government
If you get
property,
sunburn-
which
if
you
get
are.
Sunburn, the same thing.
Right. See, so
Oh,
you're
wow.
supposed to, you have to take care of yourself. You're responsible to do that. And say like so accidentally, if you didn't know that, if they had to give you the orientation and you went in the water, you got sick from it, they're responsible. See, it works both ways.
Yeah.
So
Playing soccer with the Russian kids.
yeah,
That's,
if that happened during his service time,
yeah.
you might want to check on him receiving additional compensations, disability. Okay.
All right.
All right, we are. Okay, we're close enough now. 2 more questions and we're done. Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Not really.
Okay. Last question. How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Well, it didn't.
It,
It didn't.
Good or
affect
bad?
My life.
good or bad, one way or the other?
Oh, I think it was good.
Okay, all right. And questions aren't always negative. Okay, fine. So the last part is I'd like to thank you, take the time to thank you for a great interview, and I also want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.